everyone, my name's Kaz and today I'm going to be talking about my book bubble, what it is, what books sit within my comfort zone, and what I'm going to do to try and break out of it. If you've been following me for any length of time, you'll know that I read fantasy. Sometimes I'll also read a little bit of sci-fi, especially if it's YA. I just love escaping reality and exploring a new world that is so rich and full of magic and fantastical creatures and all of that wonderful, wonderful stuff. It's my jam. I adore it a lot. Just looking at this shelf in particular, I've got a few like contemporary novels. There's a historical fiction there, and the rest fall under speculative fiction. Sci-fi fantasy, definitely the majority of books I read. And there's honestly absolutely nothing wrong with that. And I've been so content in my little book bubble for the longest time. However, I know, my book bubble is very, very small. I don't really read widely. I'm starting to wonder if I'm missing out. You know, I have a little bit of FOMO and I'm just curious if I've closed myself off too much from other types of books that I have the potential to really, really love. I mean, it's not to say that I've never touched a contemporary novel before. Like there are some contemporary books here, mostly young adult, and I've read a couple of like psychological thrillers before. So I've decided to start a new video series where I read books that are outside of my book bubble. I'm going to try and break free of that and try a bunch of different genres and see if I'm seriously missing out on something. As for how I'm choosing the books to read for each genre, that's where you guys come in. What I'm going to be doing, hopefully on like a monthly or bi-monthly basis, is choosing one specific genre and asking you guys for recommendations. And of all of the recommendations, I'm going to choose 5 books and give them a try. I feel like 5 books is a pretty reasonable and achievable amount to give a go. I didn't want to make it too high where it would just take me way too long to get to them because I have a lot of other reading commitments, but I also didn't want to do too few where I feel like it wasn't enough of the selection to give me an idea of what that genre could offer. That being said though, I know that 5 books is a very, very small selection to give me an idea of a genre as a whole. There might be some instances where I read 5 books of a specific genre and I don't enjoy the majority or all of them, but I'm not going to count that as me disliking the genre as a whole necessarily. It might just be a case of those 5 particular books just aren't to my liking. If something like that happens, I'm not going to instantly say that I dislike that genre based on my opinion of 5 books, because I don't think that's fair at all. Later down the track, I might even give some genres a second chance if I wasn't very successful the first time around. This is all just a fun experiment that I'm really, really excited about. I also want to mention as well that this video series is not in any way an attempt to like critically analyze any of the genres. Like, I'm a complete noob. All I want to do is pick up some books that I've never picked up before for whatever reason and give them a go and see if I'm missing out. Some of you might remember a couple of months ago I sent out a tweet and was like, hey, you guys who read romance, what is like your #1 favorite book or author? At the time I didn't think too hard about it. It was just a very, very broad umbrella of romance. But I did receive quite a few recommendations from like contemporary romances, paranormal romances, historical romances, and I realized that I probably should have been a little bit more specific. But I took a look at the recommendations, and thank you to everyone who did reply to that. And I've decided that the first genre that I'm going to be trying is historical romance. So I chose from the recommendations from that tweet, but I also did speak to a couple of my friends who read a lot of romance what some of their favorite historical romance novels were. And I've chosen my selection of 5. I'm not going to tell you what they are just yet. You can look forward to that video, which will be out in a few days. And then going forward, I haven't quite decided how I'm going to do it, but I might do a mix of asking for recommendations on Twitter and Instagram, and I might actually mention in each of the videos that I post what the next genre is going to be, and then I can ask for recommendations in those videos too. So I'm starting with historical romance, and I haven't decided what I'm going to do next, but some of the genres that I will be trying are true crime, like horror, thriller, mysteries. I'm going to do a separate video for Stephen King and Agatha Christie because those are 2 authors that I have never tried before, and they have a wide selection to choose from, so I feel like it's quite appropriate. I'm also going to give some non-fiction a try, though I need to decide how exactly I'm going to narrow that down because non-fiction covers a lot of areas. This is definitely a series that is going to be ongoing and I hope to keep doing for a while because there's so many types of books, so many different genres and subgenres. Like honestly, so many books, so little time. How am I going to do this? But I'm really excited about it. I honestly just cannot wait to dive into some books that I've like probably never would have picked up before if I hadn't really thought about it. I'm honestly really curious to see how this process turns out. I don't know, there might be some surprises along the way. I think it's going to be a fun time. I hope you guys are excited, and again, if there's anything that you do want to recommend to me in a particular genre, feel free to leave them in a comment down below. I will be tracking things as I go and making lists of all the recommendations I get for each of the genres, even though I will separately specifically ask for recommendations for the genres that are coming up next. But I hope you guys enjoy this journey with me as I try and break free of my little book bubble that is admittedly very small. Let's try some different books, starting with historical romance. Looking forward to it. See you with that video in a few days, but thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you very soon in a new video, but until then, I'll talk to you all in the comments. Bye!